3 capital cities, 11 official languages, the world's largest hand-dug hole, a mountain older than the Himalayas. Yes, really. This country gave the world its first heart transplant, built nuclear weapons in complete secrecy, then destroyed every single one itself, and produced a president who spent 27 years locked in a prison cell before going on to run the entire nation. If you think you know South Africa, you're about to find out you know almost nothing. Here are 21 facts. Some strange, some record-breaking, some genuinely hard to believe. Stick around for the last one. It might be the wildest of all. Fact 1. 3 capitals, 1 country. Most countries have 1 capital. South Africa has 3. Pretoria runs the executive branch. Cape Town holds parliament. Bloemfontein handles the judiciary. Sounds chaotic, right? It isn't. It was a deliberate compromise in 1910, splitting power on purpose so no single region could dominate the rest. And it's lasted over 100 years without anyone seriously trying to change it. That talent for compromise? You'll see it again, in a much bigger way, very soon. Fact 2. 11 languages, 1 nation. South Africa recognizes 11 official languages: Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, English, Sotho, Tswana, and more. Plus sign language, added as the 12th in 2023. Walk one street in Johannesburg, and you could hear 5 different languages in 5 minutes flat. But here's the twist. One of those languages is barely 200 years old. Fact 3. The youngest language on Earth. Afrikaans is considered the youngest official language on the planet, born when Dutch settler speech collided with African, Malay, and Portuguese influences, and fused into something entirely new. Most languages take centuries to fully form. This one did it in just a couple of generations. Just imagine that. Fact 4. A country inside a country. Look closely at a map. The Kingdom of Lesotho sits completely inside South Africa's borders. Not beside it, not touching one edge, fully surrounded on every single side. That makes South Africa one of only 3 countries on Earth that entirely enclose another independent nation. Strange? Absolutely. And we're only just getting started. Fact 5. The first heart ever transplanted. December 1967. A South African surgeon named Christiaan Barnard performs the world's first human heart transplant in Cape Town. The patient survived 18 days, not long by today's standards, but enough to prove it was possible. At the time, this was one of the biggest medical breakthroughs in human history. Think about that. Fact 6. Nuclear weapons. Built then destroyed. South Africa secretly built nuclear weapons in the 70s and 80s, becoming the only African country in history to develop them. Then, in 1991, it did something no country has ever done before or since. It voluntarily destroyed every single warhead, dismantling its own arsenal piece by piece, with no war, no invasion, and no outside force behind it. Nobody made them do this. They simply chose to. Fact 7. The biggest hole ever dug by hand. In the 1870s, thousands of prospectors descended on a patch of ground in Kimberley, armed with nothing but picks and shovels, hunting diamonds by hand. What's left behind is the Big Hole, the largest hand-dug excavation on the entire planet, nearly 1.5 kilometers around. And what they found down there wasn't ordinary. Fact 8. The largest diamond ever found. 1905, near Pretoria. Miners uncover the Cullinan diamond, 3,106 carats, roughly 1 1/3 pounds of pure rough stone, the largest gem-quality diamond ever discovered on Earth. Pieces of it now sit in the British Crown Jewels, worn by royalty, thousands of kilometers from the ground it was pulled out of. Fact 9. The world's platinum capital. South Africa produces roughly 90% of the entire world's platinum, alongside massive shares of the world's manganese, chromium, and gold. If there's platinum in your phone, your car, or your jewelry, there's a real chance it came from underground, right here. Fact 10. Older than the Himalayas. The Barberton Mountains, tucked away in the northeast. Hide rock formations dated at 3.2 billion years old. Older than the Himalayas. Older than the Alps. Among the oldest exposed rock on the surface of the Earth, geologists travel here just to study a version of the planet that barely resembles the one we live on now. Fact 11. One mountain, more plants than a country. Table Mountain, overlooking Cape Town, is home to over 1,500 plant species. More than the entire United Kingdom, an entire country, combined. One mountain, outcompeting a nation's worth of biodiversity. Let that sink in. Fact 12. Where humanity began. Not far from Johannesburg sits the cradle of humankind. a UNESCO World Heritage Site holding roughly 40% of all known hominin fossils ever discovered anywhere on Earth. Some of them date back over 3 million years, offering crucial evidence about our earliest ancestors. This might genuinely be one of the places where the human story begins. Fact 13. The oldest lineage alive. The San people of southern Africa carry genetic lineages tracing back more than 80,000 years, making them one of the oldest continuously existing populations in all of human history. Empires rose and fell everywhere else on Earth. This lineage simply kept going, generation after generation. Fact 14. A prison cell, then the presidency. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for opposing apartheid, South Africa's system of legal, government-enforced racial segregation that controlled nearly every part of life for decades. Then, in 1994, during the country's first fully democratic election, he was elected its first black president. From a prison cell to the presidency. Few reversals of fortune in all of history compared to this one. Fact 15. One street, two Nobel Prizes. Vilakazi Street, in the Soweto Township, is believed to be the only street on Earth where two Nobel Peace Prize winners once lived within walking distance of each other, Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Two homes, two prizes, one street. It doesn't get more concentrated than that. Fact 16. First in Africa. In 2006, South Africa became the first country in Africa, and only the fifth in the world, to legalize same-sex marriage. In a region where LGBTQ rights remain heavily restricted almost everywhere else, this constitution stands out as one of the most progressive on the continent. Fact 17. The most unequal country on Earth. For all its diamonds, gold, and platinum, South Africa consistently ranks as the most unequal country on Earth by income distribution. Extreme wealth and extreme poverty, sometimes just kilometers apart, in the same city, on the same day. Gated mansions on one side of the road, informal settlements on the other, the sharpest contradiction yet. Fact 18. A canyon painted green. The Blyde River Canyon is the third largest canyon on Earth, and unlike the dry, dusty canyons you're probably picturing right now, it's covered in dense green subtropical forest, making it the largest green canyon anywhere on the planet. Fact 19. Almost the tallest waterfall alive. Tugela Falls drops 948 meters in a series of dramatic tiers, making it the second highest waterfall in the world, trailing only Angel Falls in Venezuela by a matter of meters. Most people have never even heard its name. Fact 20. Where the Big Five was born. Lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, Cape buffalo. The term Big Five was coined right here by big game hunters describing the 5 most dangerous animals to hunt on foot. Today, those very same animals have become the biggest draw for millions of tourists, doing the exact opposite, protecting them and photographing them instead. Fact 21. Listening to the entire universe. South Africa hosts a major share of the Square Kilometre Array, and once complete, it will become the largest radio telescope network ever built on Earth, powerful enough to detect signals from the earliest galaxies in the history of the universe. A country once sealed off by its own history, now pointed straight at the edge of everything that exists. If you enjoyed discovering these incredible facts and want more countries broken down like this, fact by fact, make sure to subscribe, because we're just getting started.